Hello, my name is James Green. I'm the creative director of AirMech, and I'm here to talk over a replay of the game and tell you a bit more about it. Let me just load up the replay first. So I don't know if you saw the match before this. It looks like we've got a rematch from what I can tell with the players here. Again, we're in the pre-game time. People are throwing down their whatever they want, defensive or offensive units to start out the match. We got a lot of money makers on this side, and not so much action on this side. I don't know. Well, I guess they're building some turrets. It's a good time to spend all your money because you get basically double whatever you're spending if you're buying turrets and money makers and such. Oh, that's a lot of money makers. I'd expect it from Otakuma's team. Let's see what Red is doing. I guess they're building a few more turrets. Let's see how this works out for them. And there, we've got go time. Where infantry will be able to capture the bases. They can now move across the map. When you're in that pre-game time, you're not allowed to move beyond a certain distance from your base. They lost a couple things there. It's not a good start to the match. Looks like blue is being very offensive right from the beginning. Ah, good old Bucky. Doesn't really stand much of a chance against the turrets though. Yeah, they've already got this one. They don't really need that guy to go there. Who's going to make the first play for that central outpost? Now, this map it's broken up into a lot of different paths. It's a very gamey layout, as opposed to the more open square maps that some of the other ones are. You actually go through a zigzag pattern if you want to navigate from one end of the map to the other. So being able to carry the units across these chasms is really key to the gameplay here. Nobody's really gone for the central outpost yet. See, when he's stealth, the anti-air won't target him. Missiles won't be able to lock onto him. But they need to take out those tanks just so the infantry can get into the building. Let's see if he can do that. He's got no health, but somehow he managed to pull it off. Let's see. Red's taken their two outposts, but they don't really show much interest in the central area. So we've had a lot of questions about what's going on with AirMech. When is it going to be out? And we can't really say for sure. It's we've got a small team working on it, but we just really want to polish everything as much as we can before unleashing it on everyone. You can get in the alpha right now if you come to the forums and give us a shout. We'd love to have people that are willing to test the game, understand there are bugs. But we're aiming for a beta in the spring. It's when we get to feature complete. Everybody has their own definitions of alpha and beta. What we're using, the messaging that we're using, so that it makes sense to players, so they can understand where we're at, is they lost that base. I don't know how they let that go. Blue is definitely in the dominant position here. Sorry, back to about what's alpha and what's beta. We consider alpha something that's not feature complete. So we're still adding major features, and we know there's major bugs with the game. So we call that alpha, and as long as we're still adding stuff, we like to leave that label on us, because we know that there's a lot of problems with the game. We just don't have time to go through all of it. It's prioritizing on stuff that's important to moving the game forward. Now beta is when we've sort of put all the major features in, and we're just trying to concentrate on bug fixes and polishing up the art. There's a lot of problems with the art. If you blur your eyes and look at the game, you get an idea what we're going for, but it still needs a lot of extra props and decorations made. That extra love and polish. So you can play AirMech either on the PC or in the browser. We're actually really excited about the browser version of the game because it's the same game. There's no difference. I mean, it's the same renderer and everything. we'll be adding gamepad support, as soon as the stuff's ready on the browser side for that. Chrome has announced that they're going to have gamepad support. We're really excited about that because it sort of blurs a line between, what's a gaming platform. We love the idea of just being able to click and play the game from anywhere. Already everything is saved on our server, so all your progress, your settings, you could literally sit down at any computer, go to a web page, and be playing the game. We really like that. It really strikes home to us when we fire up a console game or something and remember this having to put the disc in the drive, and then it boots up, and then you watch all the company logos and stuff. I mean, it takes minutes to actually start playing the game, whereas it's just seconds with a game like AirMech. We were really inspired by games like Minecraft. It's like just a little tiny file, you just run it patches itself, does whatever it needs to do. There's no installing, there's no long logo screens. So, we love that, and we want AirMech to be the same way. We're gamers just as much as you guys are, and we want you to be able to play the game, for free, number one, as a free-to-play game. We want you to be able to easily get to the game anywhere you are. We'll hit every platform we can eventually. Right now we're concentrating on the computer side of things, so in your browser and, PC. The browser is actually great because it lets us hit OS X and Linux and PC all at once, which is, it's three birds with one stone. It's a great starting point, and it also lets you have a really nice clean base for doing stuff like Android versions. We're definitely looking at doing Android and eventually iOS versions as well. We see that a lot of this stuff can be adapted to the tablet pretty easily. We'll have the same game. I don't know if we'll probably have to restrict the players on the tablet to only playing with their tablet players, for fair or compatibility reasons. But you'll be able to get all your same stuff, so you won't need to unlock things. We really want you to just have one account. It doesn't matter where you're playing the game. It's just, you've got this stuff unlocked. Because as a free-to-play game, I think that makes sense. I hate games where you have to rebuy them on different platforms. I don't know. I think that's an antiquated concept. It'll be going away in the future, and hopefully we can show people that you can do it. Nobody's going to force us to do anything else. At least while we're small and independent, we've taken this opportunity to, say, okay, we've got restrictions because of our size and, connections, but at the same time, it's very freeing. We can do whatever we want. So, well, with your guys' support, of course. That did not go well. We got a bug there with the collision where you can actually slip down. Kind of ironic that something that can fly can crash like that. There's somebody, I guess Blue's attacking. Yeah, Blue's got the tank coming in from the side. The layout of this map is unique because you really only can attack the bases from the front. So it's different than the other maps, and the other maps you can drop something behind. It's, they call it the backdoor attack, and it's not as much of an option here. So it's interesting to see a full 3v3 human match on this map. People are still getting a feel for the strategies. I don't feel there's been one dominant strategy that's come out in the game yet. And also, as we're introducing more and more AirMechs and more units, the strategy will change. And as it's balanced, that's another thing that we'll do a lot of in beta is, the balance and the tuning. We don't anticipate that to be an easy process. That's why we've been doing this alpha for quite some time. And people are like, oh wow, it looks like the game's already done. It's like, well, we wanted to share the game with people really early to get their feedback. I just feel that's so critical to building a really great game. When I first started in the industry, it was actually Epic Games that offered me a job working on the original Unreal Tournament. And I remember, like, that was my first job in the industry. I was just in college before that. I was just blown away by seeing how they actually would operate and interact with their community. Because it's just a bunch of guys, you know, Tim Sweeney, like, Cliffy B, like, on cafeteria tables, you know, working on this awesome game. I could see that Unreal Tournament was going to be an amazing game. I felt really lucky just to be able to work with those guys. But then I also saw how it wasn't this really magic formula. It was more just common sense. It's like, just stay in touch with your community. Like, find out what they want. You know, the community is telling you, oh, this is broken, this is causing a problem for us. You know, it's not making the game fun to play. The community really wants to help you make the game better. So, you know, they stay up all night working on a patch and just get a patch out. They didn't have to go ask somebody's permission, you know, go through QA or cert. I mean, we'd check it and we'd try to make it right, and sometimes we'd screw up too. But you know, you'd iterate and you'd get stuff out there. You react to the community, and I think that's one of the things that made Epic so great when they started out. And you know, that doesn't necessarily scale to the level where they're at now. Like, Epic has grown massively. You know, they have different realities to deal with, but I remember them from when they were, you know, a little 20 person studio, and the actual developers, it was even less than that. And it was just really great to witness that. And you know, I want to recreate a little piece of that with what we're doing, you know, with Carbon. You know, we can do what we want, just work for the fans, basically. I mean, in the end, the fans are going to be the ones that you have to please to get them to give you some money. So you should do what they want instead of you know, getting all political and publisher deals and stuff. I mean, it just gets so complex and gets away from the core of, you know, can we make a fun game? So back to the game. Blue is definitely pushing the attack there. It looks like since they secured the center, they've got an economic advantage. They keep dropping in tanks. Again, the bomber's great for defense, so you know, they've reset them. Blue's still got all their money makers. They're going to continue to have quite an economic advantage here. I really like watching these replays because you can, you know, jump around and say, okay, I see what this guy's doing, see what that guy's doing. And it's like, if only they knew what the other person was doing, they could really exploit something. It's like, I wish, you know, Red would scout out the blue base and, you know, see that they've got a pretty easy shot of taking out those money makers. And the AirMechs are starting to get in higher levels. I mean, you notice each one of them has their own level, and you know, it's like other Dota style games where you're leveling up, you're becoming more powerful. There's a default amount of like health and power increase as they go up in levels. So towards the end of the game, like if you get up to level 10 AirMech, you're extremely powerful. Part of that was meant to break stalemates so that the AirMechs can be much more powerful than the units, the late stage AirMechs. I mean, plus they've got you know, their abilities fully maxed at that point. They're pretty badass. But we added some Fog of War recently. It's not real traditional Fog of War. Basically, just things don't show up on your radar if you don't have anything friendly around it. So, like the red team here isn't able to see really what's around the blue base. You know, they can't easily tell that it's you know, ripe to just fly in there with a tank and attack. But I guess they got their hands full just trying to defend. I don't see any attempts from Red to make any money makers. They might not have, I'm sorry, not money makers, but the lunchbox, which will repair their base. Maybe they just don't have any. It's really good to coordinate with your team and make sure you've got sort of the basics. It's like everybody's got one of some of the critical units if you're really trying to play a team game. Let's get back down to that. Yeah, so again, it's cleared out, but look at the health in the red base. And you see, when this alarm sounds, you know, it's telling you you're really, really low. You know, you're taking a lot of damage from from those tanks. If only they'd give it the right order. It looks like they just dropped them down, but they didn't force them to attack. But the AirMechs themselves should just be able to hit it. And there we go. It won. Yeah, you could see that was coming. Good job, though. Okay. That's it for now. Keep an eye on our channel. Subscribe, please. We'll keep posting more.